Alright, so this is a quick walkthrough of data sources and access, how the interface of spreadsheet looks like, how to import data, and how to that will be messed up. So last week we learned that over here where you see the cursor of the mouse is the space or place where you rename or name your column. So when you want to access your Google Sheet for the first time, please don't use Excel for this work. Let's all try and use Google Spreadsheet for the purposes of what has already been discussed. That's why we are all encouraged to use Excel, spreadsheet. Sorry. So please come here and pick your sheet over here. Please do all and use spreadsheet. So now accessing spreadsheet for the first time, we want to look at the interface of a spreadsheet, right? So as I have here, so now your first time you access this fresh blank sheet over here. So access your blank sheet over here. Depending on how fast or weak your internet is, right, you have patience for it. It will be generated for you. So now where I see untitled spreadsheet, you can delete this and write anything here, right? And write anything here. So for me, I'm going to write cast here. So you can name it as you want. Now from the far to help is what we call the menu bar, right? From the far to help, from this far to help over here is what we call menu bar. So all these are functions that we are going to use them in analyzing our data one by one through most of our practical sections. So we wouldn't worry you with knowing what exactly is under each, right? So the menu bar, and from this search to this button over here is called the toolbar. And within the toolbar, we have the number formatting, which is used for numerical values only. So if you want to add a currency sign or symbol, you come here, you pick the currency you are working with. When you are mostly working with financial data or anything regarding money or about money. Now, if you want to add percentage to whatever you are doing, you come here. If you want to reduce or increase your decimal places, you also come here. Now, font setting, if you want to change the default, if you want to increase the size, font styling, if you want to bold, italize, color, you come here. Cell formatting, text alignment, I want it at the middle, at the center, at the far left, far right, you come here. This version control will give you history of any changes that will be done in the work you are doing. So imagine you are collaborating with somebody in a work, whatever the person will change would appear here. Whenever you click here, you see a track history of whatever is being done or whatever change or changes that has been done over here at this space, right? So take note of the version control or the version history icon over there. We also saw the share button, of which most of us can use. So when you click on that share button, you can put the person's email directly. When the person is connected, you can also pick his or her email from there, and make sure that anytime you are sharing a work with somebody over here or with me, come here and remove it from restricted to anyone with the link. Now put the person's email here, right? As many as you can, but if you are sending it to one person, and you can add your message over here, right? Add your message over here. If you want the person to edit, let it be over here, editor. If you want the person to just see it only without editing, being able to write anything or effect any change, you can leave it at viewer, but now editor. After that, send, right? So now let's come back to the rest of the interface. The rest of the interface. So our section will be quick. All right. So this here is the formula bar. This formula bar is used to type long and complicated formulas, right? So let's come back here and continue with importing data from files. So now our main focus here is going to be on how and where to import data from where. Now we can import data from our local machine using the far button over here. So we are going to use this import to import a file, a data set from our local machine. And we said the technical term is called file directory. File directory simply means the location where your file can be found or accessed is called your directory in IT, or that's the technical term. So when you click on upload, now when it's your first time, come to upload, come to browse, and go to where the data is. So we are going to our file directory, right? So I can locate mine over here. Let me use this one, the gender female political representation, right? So now I am importing a file into my Google Sheet. Remember that whenever you are using a Google Sheet, you are going to import the data set from your local machine to the spreadsheet. So over here we have two things here, one at the left, one at the right. Import location, separator type. So now let's talk about the separator type. This separator type is asking us that what type of file format are we bringing it into spreadsheet. Now we all know about CSV, right? So CSV is being separated by what? Comma. That's why it is called comma separated values. So now we are picking the comma. And here it is asking us that import location. Now we don't want to create a new spreadsheet. We want to insert this sheet inside this cast spreadsheet we named. So select insert new sheet and click here import. Click here import, and your data would be imported correctly. And we said that now we can see that the C is eaten into E and F columns, but we don't want it like that. What can we do? Now if we want C to fit correctly into 8 column without eating into any other column, we can either hold here, drag it to the last part, come here, hold this side, drag it to the F here, and now C will give you that bigger space to occupy this heading over here. But maybe you don't want to do it like that, right? So you can put the cursor here, double click it, and it will automatically align your text for you, right? So you can achieve this in two ways. Either you can drag and drop here, or you can double click it over here, and this long sentence would be fitted directly into the first row of column C. Secondly, we want to also import it back and see how we fail this importation. And if we fail to import correctly, we will see that our data set is going to be messed up. And when it messes up, what can we do to correct it? This is just a simple data set we are working on. What if you are working on 30 columns on maybe 1,500 rows? It is going to be a challenge, right? So this is a CSV file, not an XLXS or TSB, tab separated values. So here, maybe by mistake or out of pressure, you selected tab instead of selecting comma. And after selecting the tab, you didn't even realize. And please here, always make sure you take this part. So your text, you can convert your text to numbers, your date, and it's like this one you can manipulate your data format, data type format. We will address that later, right? Always make sure this part is ticked green like this. So because you didn't select comma, but mistakenly you picked tab, let's import and see. This will give us an error. Now we can see that all the data has been messed up under column C. column A, sorry, under column A, because we want to see how the data looks like, we have to give a bigger space to column to this header here, so we can see what is there. And now one trick here is that we can see that all the data is being separated by comma. So we can see here country, year, and proportion of seats held by women in national parliament columns. So 3 columns over here. But when we come here, because we selected the tab as our separator type, it has given us an error. But we can see that it is being separated by comma. So what we can do is make sure you highlight everything under column A, right? So hold here, drag it to the last part of the column. After that, what we are going to do is that, what is this? This is a data. So come to data. Now not file. So we've used file to do the importation. Come to data. Select data. And what we are going to do now, we are going to split the columns into their respective columns. So now what we are going to do is to split our text to columns. So pick columns over here. And you can see that automatically our columns have been splitted correctly. But maybe yours may or might not give you the automatic splitting. Please come here, this drop box over here, click on the drop box and select comma, and it will do the magic for you. But now maybe you also forgot and selected semicolon. This is going to give you another issue because this is a CSV. CSV means comma separated values. So come back. If you pick any other separator type, it will give you an error. You will not get the correct thing. So come and pick comma, and the comma will give you the correct splitting, right? Over here, like we did earlier, we want to make sure that this header over here doesn't eat into other columns, right? So you can achieve this in 2 ways. Either part 2, you do that, or you hold it and drag it to the end that you want it. So now we've done 3 things over here. We've looked at the spreadsheet interface, your spreadsheet interface, now your menu bar, your toolbar, your version control, your formula bar. And I said the formula bar is used to type long, complicated formulas. So now, what if my formula bar is not visible? What do I do? If your formula bar is not visible, now what you can do is to come to show view. When you come to view, come to show. Right now it is ticked. If I click on it, now my formula bar will be missing. But if I want to see my formula bar again, come to view and come to show and formula bar. So please, 3 things over here. File, we use the file to do our importation. We use the data to split our text columns when our importation failed. And now we also use the view to make sure that our formula bar is visible over here. Remember the toolbar, we have the number formatting over here, the font, the font styling, and text alignment over here, and cell formatting as well.